Welcome back to Diceroll Mediahouse, everybody. I hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful day. I hope you're hungry because boy, are we eating good today. Todd Howard, the Todd Father, has finally broken his silence on the Elder Scrolls 6, and it is huge. Todd recently sat down with Greg Miller from Kinda Funny Games, one of, if not the biggest gaming podcast in the world. You're probably subscribed and you've probably heard of it, and did a tell-all interview, and boy, did he cook. Todd and Greg are old friends. They've known each other for a long time, and it's a situation where Greg was really able to sit down with Todd and actually ask him genuine questions, although there are a few things that I wished he would have asked, like, why did you break Fallout 4 and not do anything about it for a year? That wasn't talked about, but they did talk about a lot of really great Elder Scrolls information, Starfield information, and Fallout information. This interview wasn't just a good conversation. He put to rest some of the biggest fears that Elder Scrolls fans, including myself, have had for a very long time since Starfield and Fallout 76 really deviated from the Bethesda classic style. And Todd has a lot to say about it, so let's get into it. Now, before I get started, I just want to let you know this is an interview from another channel. You should definitely go watch the interview for yourself. It's about an hour long and it has a lot of really good information, especially if you're a fan of these types of things. So I think it's definitely worth your time if you're into the Elder Scrolls or Bethesda or just a weird fan of Todd Howard. Like I said, the interview is long. There's a lot of points to cover. I'm going to hit the main points that I really cared about, things that resonated with me that I thought were really important. And first off, the biggest thing is the fear that I have had since I played Starfield. I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say Bethesda dropped the ball. But the more I played Starfield, the more I realized that they've gotten away from what makes them unique, and that's handcrafted worlds with unique things to find, unique things to do, and that doesn't mean procedural generation that has random planets with nothing on them and nothing to do. A lot of us think that's boring. Now I'm going to go ahead and let Todd say what he has to say, and then I'll talk about the point.
I think if you look at our games, we've sort of always evolved. We do have a certain style that we like and our fans like that we want to get better and better at. I think in some ways, well, in many ways, Fallout 76 and Starfield are a little bit of a creative detour from kind of that classic Elder Scrolls Fallout, a Skyrim or a Fallout 3 or a Fallout 4, Oblivion, where you're exploring a world in a certain way. And, as we come back to Elder Scrolls 6 that we're doing now, we're coming back to that kind of classic style that we've missed, that we know really, really well. You talked about, tech and things like that. We spent the last several years bringing Creation Engine 2, which powers Starfield, up to Creation Engine 3, that's going to power Elder Scrolls 6 and beyond. And, obviously we do all the rendering things. We're really happy with the new stuff that we're doing, but also kind of world systems loading, how we bring things into the world, how we get that detail close to the camera kind of immediately. And so, but it's still, we have a style of game that we really, really like that I think people expect from us.
Sure.
And there's a lot of innovation to be done there still, so that when you step into a world, you feel like you're experiencing it really for the first time, a game like that. And I think, we're happy with where it's headed right now. That's what I could say.
Wow. So if you understand what he's saying, the biggest complaint that people had with Starfield was it deviated from their normal style of game development. Bethesda makes very Bethesda-esque games. Anybody who's a fan of Bethesda games knows that their games all pretty much play the same way because it's from the same game engine, the Creation Engine. What they do in that sandbox may be different from Fallout to Starfield to the Elder Scrolls, from Skyrim to Oblivion to Morrowind, but it's still literally the same thing, and they just put different things in the sandbox. When it came to Starfield, however, when it came to crafting the world, they relied on procedural generation that was able to create hundreds of planets, but it's basically all barren. It lacks the uniqueness, it lacks personality, and it lacks a handcrafted touch. Just because we have more doesn't mean it's better. It lacked everything that made their games unique in the first place. Now, the big takeaway from what he just said is that Starfield and Fallout 76 were creative detours, meaning that's not normally what they do. The biggest complaint and fear from fans fans is that Bethesda didn't do that on purpose. The fans were scared that Bethesda not only lost their touch, but were being controlled and manipulated by their Microsoft overlords, which is understandable. It happens to companies all of the time. But what Todd Howard is saying here, and what gives me a lot of real genuine faith, and really honestly instills a lot of hope in me, is that they're getting back to what he said is their roots, their normal way of doing things. Not only is he expressing a choice there, he's expressing that he understands fan feedback. Obviously, I think Todd Howard has heard loud and clear that people don't like what Starfield was doing. I think he got the picture. I don't think that somebody as passionate and as intelligent as Todd Howard is going to look at the Steam reviews, someone who is active on Reddit as he said that he is. If you ever went to a Starfield subreddit, you would understand the folks aren't happy. I think it's not lost on Todd Howard that it didn't strike that nerve with the fans that he was hoping for. I truthfully think that he understands that. I think he gets it. And to say that he is so passionate about something as the Elder Scrolls that he is just going to hear that feedback, hear what you guys are saying, hear what we're all saying, and just say, nah, I'm just going to do it again for the Elder Scrolls. I'm sorry, you can be as negative as you want. You can be in such an echo chamber that you cannot understand, that you just simply choose to not see what he's saying, and you can say he's wrong, you can say he's lying, oh, he's lost his touch, you can say whatever you want, but the truth is, the man just said, I understand, I get it, we're going back to our roots, and I really don't think that he would have said something like that. I mean, truthfully, he didn't have to say it, but that's something that the fans have wanted, that's something that the fans have been talking about for years, and I truthfully, genuinely believe that Todd Howard, someone who made Morrowind, someone who made Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, all of a sudden we just think that this man just doesn't know how to make a video game anymore. I think it's a little ridiculous. Another really big topic that Greg Miller brings up to Todd is the use of AI in video game development. And once again, Todd really douses some water on the fire.
We're being like incredibly cautious, kind of viewing it as a tool, like an analyst. Look at the data in our games. We're not using it to generate anything.
Sure.
I think there's such an element of artistic intention that is essential to what we do and others do. And if you look across things outside of AI, like sort of go back 100, like this idea of craftsmen, I still think craftsmen and that handcrafted human intention is what makes things special.
Sure.
And that's where we want to be. But you can't ignore it in terms of it's coming, it's changing every few months. There's a new model, particularly in the tech side with code or productivity or other things. And I'll just say we're looking at that stuff. We're not like fully ignoring it, because where it can help us sort of get better at some, big data tasks that just take us a lot of time that we just wish were done now.
Sure.
So we can move on to the creative stuff. That's kind of where our heads are. But I think it's still very, very early days.
Now, I don't know about you, but that's pretty clear. The man just said that he's only using AI to quantify data, to do things that would normally just take hundreds of man hours that you simply don't need to do anymore, and he's not using AI to generate the game. I'm happy, boys. I'm going to be honest. If you're still here, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited for the Elder Scrolls 6 after this update, or are you still skeptical? Are you still one of those that say, I don't know, I'm still going to wait, or are you gung-ho ready for that pre-order? Let me know in the comments, guys. If I hear anything else, you'll hear it right here first on Diceroll Mediahouse, and I'll see you all next time.